I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to use fear to create what you want. Because fear can be absolutely used to create more. It doesn't have to be a stumbling block. It can be, but then you can then reframe that situation to use that situation to help you to become more of what you prefer to be, if you choose to see it in that way. And that is a choice to then shift your attitude, right? That's up to you. And so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video is to ask you a question, which is, how do you feel about not creating your goals? How do you feel about not creating your goals? And that might make you a little bit scared. And that should make you just a little bit scared, in my opinion, just a little bit, right? Because, if you didn't create what you wanted, if you got to the end of your life and you didn't create what you wanted, how would you feel about that? And so this is a really important question to think about, because we cannot think about that. And I'm not saying to overthink it so much to the point where it makes you still not take action and just overthink. That's not going to be beneficial either, right? But what I'm saying is that just to keep it in the back of your mind, well, like, what if you just never created what you really wanted? And what do you actually want? Have you decided? Would you be comfortable getting to the end of your life and you never even thought about what you really wanted? What if you were just simply living for others and you never even thought about what your vision was and what your desires are? And you might be thinking, well, isn't that interesting? Do we really even have our own visions? Because, other people can just be influencing us so much that maybe even our goals are just a result of societal conditioning. Well, possibly, but still, I think we can take a step back and say, what do I really want? Take that societal conditioning, take all that, you can even see it as it's not really bad, it's just information. And what do you want? From there, if you decide what you want, how would you feel if you didn't create it? That's a serious question to consider, because it's like, well, if you don't, are you okay with that? Are you okay with not creating the life that you really want? Are you okay with not stepping into the world that you prefer to see? Are you okay with not being the change that you want to see in the world, whatever that change means to you? Are you okay with that, right? And if that makes you scared, that's something that you should be thinking about, in my opinion. It's not something you should shy away from. It's not something that you should be scared of to be scared. Don't be so scared to be scared of not creating what you want, because maybe that's what you need in order to finally take action. In order to finally create that version of yourself that, you prefer to be in your life. And so, and if we're talking about just being scared of taking action because of whatever reason, maybe you're just scared to take action, right? Maybe you're scared of whatever it is. You don't want to take action because you think something's going to happen, or you think that your life's going to be at jeopardy. If your life's at jeopardy, of course, think about that. But, if it's just a fear that isn't the truth, if it's a fear that you can reframe and then it's not the truth, well, here's my question. Can you be scared of something and just take action anyway? Have you ever thought about that? Because, I used to think about this question a lot, where it's like, well, how do you not allow fear to not control you? Like, how do you do that, right? How do you not allow a fearful situation to not control your decisions? It's interesting. Like, can you feel fear? Can you be scared of a situation? Can you be in a situation and notice that fear within you? Notice that you're scared. Notice that you feel fear and just simply do it anyways. And of course, I was talking about two different fears, right? At the beginning of the video, I'm talking about the fear of not creating what you want. I'm also talking about the fear of just being scared of something happening as a result of taking action towards what you want. Regardless of which fear we're talking about here, can you be fearful and just take action anyway? Just take action. Well, the first fear is going to motivate you to take action for sure. The second fear, if you're scared of not taking action because you're scared, can you just do it anyway? Maybe it's different for you, right? Maybe in your life you don't see it the same way. But the key is maybe in your life it's different. But the key that I've noticed is to understand that we should start to open ourselves up to the possibility that whatever helps us take more action, whatever helps you not feel stuck and to move towards the vision that makes you feel better about who you are and your world and what you want to be in life. You know, if a certain type of thinking is not helping you to become better, to become a better person, to become more focused towards the vision that you want, then obviously, maybe not so obvious because we get lost in our ways of thinking, right? But obviously, in hindsight, when you think about it like this, maybe it's not the best way to live life. Maybe it's not the best way to live life is to allow our emotions to define who we want to be. You know, not to allow, maybe that's not the best thing that we can do. And so I just want to really conclude this video just to, you know, allow you to think about this possibility that, you know, can you use fear and stagnation and feeling stuck to take more action? Can you just do that? Whatever we're talking about here, sometimes just taking action, regardless of how you feel about a situation, can be beneficial. And I'm not saying to not contemplate and to not think and to not be wise. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to not be wise about a situation and to not think about all the negative possibilities. And I'm not saying to overthink the possibilities that can happen if you don't create what you want to, because that's all possible, right? Everything in life is a risk. Nothing is guaranteed in life, and everything that you do is an opportunity cost. Everything is always a risk. And so when you think about it like that, well, it's like at some point you just gotta feel your emotions, dissect the situation, think about the logical possibilities, and just simply take action anyway. And to conclude this video, what I want you to consider is that is it possible to not allow fear and stagnation and feeling stuck to not allow you to take action? And so in other terms, can you use fear and stagnation and this stuck feeling to take more action in your life? Is that a possibility? Is it a possibility that you can use this feeling of feeling stuck to say, you know what, if I'm feeling stuck because of my own thinking, or maybe I'm feeling stuck because I'm overthinking about not doing things or overthinking about doing too much, all these different things, you can overthink in this direction and in that direction and this mindset and say, well, just slow down for a second here. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling resistance in your life, can you use that resistance to allow you to step into a state of action, which for me, action feels less resistance. I feel less resistance when I'm in a state of action than when in comparison to when I'm in a state of inaction. For me, that's just how it is, right? When I'm in action, that feels better than when I'm not in action. That feels much better than when I'm not moving forward. When I'm moving forward towards a better vision, when I'm taking action, when I'm moving who I really want to be forward towards a direction, that feels a lot better than when I'm not doing that. For me, that feeling of resistance is my cue to move forward, because usually, you know, it's so funny, I'm feeling resistance because of me not doing something usually. Usually we feel resistance because we're not doing something. Usually we feel fearful because we're just not doing enough. Other times we feel fearful because we're doing too much and maybe the action you need to take is to slow down. But in that case, you still got to trust yourself and trust what you feel in that moment. So you need to take more action when you feel fearful. Whatever that action means to you, you decide that, whether that's slowing down or speeding up or doing more or doing less. Take the action. Don't get stuck. Don't let yourself get stuck and go do something. And with that, I conclude this